Kdenlive 22.08.2. People said, hey, that doesn't look like 22, man. That looks like 19. All these boxes are movable. If you want to use their preset up here on the right, you can do that. To me, it gets too cluttered. This is how I like to work on it. You notice I have project monitor and clip monitor in the same area, depending what you pick. Right now, I'm down here on the timeline, and it's in the project. If I go to the bin folder and I click on it, it goes to clip monitor. My logo, clip monitor. Anything in the bin you click on will display. But I don't need to see both of these side by side. That's just me. Let's keep it simple. So I have my logo here, which is just a little PNG with a little Linux Penguin, WD Day, and Kdenlive emblem to show you that I really am in 22. Yes, I am. Right here. But this is how I like it to look. Okay, so today we're going to make a title. I'm going to show you a couple little things that I do. And I have this slow motion video I made of some apple cider that I poured into a jar, actually a measuring cup. And I did it in slow motion, which turned out pretty cool. Something different. So today in Project Bin, you do the little down arrow and it says add a title clip. So we're going to add a title clip. Now, another thing I've noticed on other people that are making titles, they like to do it with a transparent screen. Now, that's fine. But as I'm making this, and I know I'm going to stick it over this video, because I don't have a set intro. That's just not me. I click the show background, and you get this. I want to put it over here. So the default when you open, make a title is a title. So I'm going to put in Kdenlive 22.08.2. Click outside of it, drag it in there, move this thing over, and there you have the start of my title. And I'm going to overlap titles because sometimes I like them a different size, or maybe one come in from the left, one come in from the right. You can do all kinds of stuff. Play with that animation and you'll catch it real quick. Okay, the next thing is, let's talk about this box, properties. Here's my font. That's one I picked, I like it. It's a solid color. If I want to do a gradient, I can do a gradient. And if you go to the little edit icon, it shows you the two colors and the angle. So I got like a black and a blue. So if I go and I move it a little, you see how you can change it? It can be far left, far right, switching the two colors. If you put it in the middle, color one's on top. Now you can revert, you can click in a box, change the colors. That's all that is. So that's cool. But to me, I like solid color. I do a gradient once in a while. Next thing in that box that I use is the outline. See the black line around the letters? If you turn that up, you can overpower your color. I have found that most fonts, 5 or 6 is fine. And also in the box is a 160 for size. So say I go hold that and show you, man, it'll grow. Now, a 160 in this font is this size. If you pick a larger font, a 160 could be off the screen. So you gotta play with the size depending on your font. Next thing I do is a shadow. I just click, the blur is minimum blur. I like 2 or 3. And the offset is 3. You can't hardly see it. I have found that 12 for the offset is just about right. You see the gray around the title, the numbers there? That's that offset. I like that. Now, the next thing is the typewriter effect that originally was in a way earlier version of Kdenlive. Disappeared for a while. Then it was due to popular demand, I guess. It came back about 2 or 3 versions ago, and it just kind of marches across the screen as it fills in the letters. So it's cool. I like that. So there we have our preliminary title. So I don't know why, but it always puts the first letter when you're up here in Clip Monitor. So let's drag this down and put it over my logo. And we're going to do home. And since I was in the main video, home took it home. If I had 3 videos and I was clicked in the other video, it would go to the home of that video. In other words, if I click on here and hit home, it'll go to the start of my title. And it shows that K. I don't know why it does that, but it does. So if I do control home, it goes to the start of the timeline. Spacebar. That's a typewriter effect. Okay, that's cool. Now, I don't need this thing real long, so we'll just move it with my logo. I'm going to add a second title clip. And what I'm going to do is right in here, I'm going to make it smaller because this is going to be the title of what we're talking about in Kdenlive today. Add a title clip. That's what we're doing. Click outside and it'll turn to what I've got set up here. Now you notice this title does not have a shadow, so I'm going to add that. And I'll do the typewriter effect because I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this a little differently. And I could make it a little bigger, but now this is good enough. And I want it to end up more in the middle right. And right here, so you notice the first letter, that's just weird. It tells you where you're at, I guess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, I'm going to stretch this one out a little and stretch this one out a little. I'm going to stagger them. We'll hit home here. We'll hit spacebar. Kdenlive. And then here comes add a title clip. And now what I could do, come up to my effects, and if I'm in this part of the title, these are 2 titles, 2 separate titles. So I click that and I go fade out. And I click in this one and I go fade out. Double click it and let's see what that does. Okay, and the other one starts coming in, then the top one's going to fade out, then the bottom one's going to fade out. And let's pull my little logo thing to the very end. Control home, beginning of timeline, spacebar, and add a title clip. So you can see, you can stack these titles up, and it's pretty cool. There's quite a few other things you can do too. If I go back to this one, when I click on the second title I made, add a title clip, is what I have in there. This pops up and it says fade out. I have a fade out command. Now if I click down here, this is the fade out command for this one. And it's like a 3-second thing. See, if I pull this, it's impacting that other one. So I'm going to delete that so I know that I'm in here. This fade out is for here. Delete. Now I'm going to put a transform in there. I can either drag it in there and let go, or if I have this highlighted, double click. And it's in there. And here's the control over that effect. And if I move you notice when I'm moving on the timeline, any keyframeable effect, you will see the timeline of this box right above it. And what that means is I could go here and say, with a plus sign, if you hover over it, it will say add a keyframe. Add a keyframe, and I'm going to change the size a little. And it's just going to make it get a little bigger. And I'm going to click in the bottom of the box. It set it, so it's going to go from 100. Starts at 100. Look in the, as I move the keyframe, it's going to get bigger. You can see the size getting bigger to 120. I'm going to go to the end of the box, add a keyframe, and I want it to disappear. So I found that if I use a 1, it will disappear. I've tried 0 and it doesn't seem to like that. So try 1, tell me what you think. Okay, let's go back. And I'm going to go in here and do a fade out. And we're going to see what I just did. Home. Start. Kdenlive. 2208.2. And I will prove that in a minute too. Add a title clip. Hey, it's getting bigger. And the other one fades away and this one shrinks into it. I like that. Now, back to what version I'm in. About Kdenlive. 2208.2. The way you can tell, if you see this box, you're at least Kden 1, Kden 21, I think it was. They came out with this. And these are different preset styles you can use if you want the audio, a histogram on all this color variation wheel. I would rather do that in the effect composition stack, but that's me. Everybody's different. Play around with it. You might find one you really like. This is my simplistic way of making a title clip. Hope that helps. And my favorite video editor, Kdenlive. That's it.